Everyone, welcome back to another 1v1 battle with the dwarves here that I'm bringing, including Grombrindal. We are facing off against the beastmen this time, and I wanted to see Grombrindal versus Gorbals. That's exactly why I brought the dwarves when I saw that my opponent was bringing beastmen, because what beastman player doesn't bring Gorbals? That'd be insane, right? But anyway, my army here is going to consist of a front line of dwarven warriors mixed in with longbeards here. For the front, we have a Thane, of course, Grombrindal, the runesmith. We also have the Grumbling Guard, which is pretty much a staple in most of my dwarven armies. We have two rangers with great weapons to deal with the Gorbals as well. Most likely, maybe Bestigors if they bring them. Then we also have a group of miners in the back just because I had extra money. Two grudge throwers because I knew what map we were playing on, so I would like the arc option here. And then again because of the map we're playing on, and also because you're facing off against beastmen, the one group of gyrocopters, just the very basic one, and then also a group of Bugman's Rangers over here. I'm going to try them out. And the idea was, you know, a lot of beastmen charge you, and usually the Cygor is in the back, and of which there is actually a Cygor here. So the Bugman's Rangers were here to just kind of come out and destroy a Cygor when the front line of beastmen were pushing up against mine. That's the idea of bringing the Rangers. And I brought them instead of a group of Corridors just because I never bring Bugman's Rangers. So I was like, let's give them some love here. But anyway, my opponent here has 3 Centigors with great weapons, 2 over on this flank, 1 over here. Actually, was that 4? Oh, 4 Centigors with great weapons. They have a spotter out here, these Chaos Warhounds in the forest. I know they have a spotter because the Cygor immediately starts throwing their rocks into my army. And I have a gyrocopter, but I didn't think it was worth looking for the spotter group because they have so much cav, they can easily whip around any of these Centigors around this hill to get spotting as well. So I was like, I'm just going to shoot some Centigors instead. So yeah, they have a group of Chaos Warhounds over there. Their front line here is made up of all Gore herds, which I think is a little odd that there are no Bestigors against a Dwarven army. But, hey, you know, maybe they were just relying on all these Centigors with great weapons to do all the armor piercing. And then also we have the 2 Gorbals, which is, again, pretty much a staple in most Beastmen armies, and a Cygor. Also Malagor the Dark Omen, so we can get a second Cygor summit at some point. So yeah, I'm just going to be applying pressure on these Centigors with my gyrocopter as I'm trying to march. Ow. You poor longbeards. I'm trying to march right here, and I want to have a fight on top of the hill, so I'm going to march to this point. This is the point where my army is close enough to the edge. It's going to be harder for Cygors to get the arc on my army, to actually get them hurt. Because again, we're facing Beastmen, so I thought maybe they would charge, but I guess since they have the Cygor advantage, they're just going to actually kind of sit there. Even though I have grudge throwers, the thing is, the grudge throwers here actually don't get to do too much. The grudge throwers' main purpose is to take out like kind of densely packed infantry with their explosive damage, as you can see right there, 65 explosive armor piercing. Now the actual rock does do a lot of missile damage. The thing is, it's not the most accurate thing. And against the Gore herds, they're kind of spread out, so the explosive damage doesn't do much. Also, they're not very heavily armored. There's no Bestigors here for me to actually hit. So I'm just going to be kind of assigning random targets. I think I hit like a Cygor once, hit some Gore herds at some point. I try to hit these Gorbals, but it's really ineffective. I also try to hit these Centigors at some point as well with my grudge throwers. So right now, again, I'm just kind of positioning myself to make it harder for the Cygors to actually throw their rocks into my army. But my grudge throwers still have a pretty good arc. Yeah, so I think they're aiming for these Dwarf Warriors. Yeah. I think they're aiming at the Dwarf Warriors, but it's just the angle is terrible. The Centigors are going to come over here to try and shut down my grudge throwers, and that's when they're going to find out that I have 2 Rangers with great weapons over here. And we're going to start throwing our axes if they start coming in to shake out my grudge throwers. If the Centigors take out my grudge throwers, I don't really care as long as we can take them out in return. Because again, my grudge throwers honestly aren't doing much here. They've done some damage to a Gore herd, but Gore herds are not what I'm afraid of in this matchup. But anyway, they're going to get close enough. They really want to take out my grudge throwers, so I'm just going to let loose with my throwing axes over here, which do so much damage. And then my gyrocopter is allowed to do its AoE damage here with the Centigors as well, with the steam cannon. It's over to, but then I get nailed by that Cygor. Then we pop a Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and you can see we've almost dealt enough damage to take out one entire Centigor, and they got a grudge thrower. And honestly, in this matchup, I am more fearful of the Centigors, the great weapons, than I am of losing a grudge thrower. So I'm okay with this trade. Plus, I'm continuing to hound them with my my gyrocopter, which as a Beastman player, sometimes I'm known to roll a Beastman. It is very annoying to deal with gyrocopters when you don't have any Ungor Raiders. Hell, even when you have Ungor Raiders, because they're not the best at taking gyrocopters out. But it's one of the only options you have unless you summon some Manticores. Yeah, so this player is going to continually just try and throw their rocks. I'm hoping that they just charge up, because again, I'm willing to fight them, but I want to fight them like right here, or maybe even right here. I don't really want to charge 2 Cygors right now. Because again, I have the Bugman's Rangers just ready. They're just ready for the Beastman army to march forward and leaving their Cygors in the back for me to snipe them. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. Meanwhile, back here, I'm still just kind of hounding these Centaurs. They're just running around in circles, not knowing what to do because the gyrocopter is just above them. And I think they're going to come in for another pass at my second grudge thrower here very soon. You can fast forward it here. Wait, okay, here they go. Actually, I think this is a tease. They start to go in and I think they pull out. Yeah. I'm ready, though. And then they fully commit. So we're going to start throwing some more axes with our rangers with great weapons here soon. Again, I'm totally okay with this happening as long as we can do some damage to them. And even though the throwing axes are not really made for Centaurs, because they're not really heavily armored soldiers, it still works. So I'm okay with it. And we still have more than enough ammunition to handle the 2 Gorbals, which is what I am really thinking that we're going to be throwing the rest of our ammunition on, unless they charge us again. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter's still just hounding these Centaurs. It's done a decent amount of damage to them. And I'm just hoping that the player gets frustrated enough that they're finally going to charge us, considering that we have now wiped out almost 2 groups of Centaurs. This one's getting well on its way to being wiped out by the Gyrocopter. And again, I want them to charge. I want to use my Bugman's Rangers to snipe that guy. To snipe the Cygor. And then the enemy is going to start marching this way. And I'm like, well, what? Why are you marching that way? So I'm going to march that way. My grudge thrower is still up too, doing some damage. It got some good hits against, well, a couple decent hits against these 2 Gorbals. Again, I'm not really worried about their Goreherd infantry because the Goreherds are not armor piercing. All of our Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors are very high armored. We have a runesmith, so I'm pretty sure we can tank out a battle against Goreherds. My only concern are the Cygors and these 2 Gorbals. And of course the Centaurs. They can actually prove to be a problem. Who I'm still hounding even though they're just sitting in a forest. So right here, I'm actually trying to catch the infantry mid-move. I'm hoping to try and get a flanking action and get something out here. Bugman's Rangers are also moving up following the army, and I'm going to actually assign them to attack Malagor the Dark Omen because it's just kind of out here on its own. Now, in retrospect, probably not a good idea because Bugman's Rangers are drunk at all times, so their accuracy is really low. So trying to snipe a single target with the Bugman's Rangers who have a low accuracy, not actually the best. Their low accuracy probably won't mean much against an actual group of infantry or something like that, but against these single small targets, they kind of actually miss a lot of their shots. Like, they kind of miss a lot. But anyway, we're going to walk up far enough to the point where these Cygors are going to stop moving. The Goreherd is going to start charging on our left flank here soon. And I want to try and tie the Cygors up in melee so I don't have to worry about the rocks. And then here come the Gorbals. I'm going to accept the Gorbals with Grombrindal. I'm buffing him up with the Deadly Onslaught and the Rune of Axe of Grombrindal. And I think I also pop Foe Sticker here to get some more speed. Yeah. So we're going to charge these Gorbals. Because Grombrindal don't give a f against Gorbals, you know what I'm saying? This is what I wanted. I wanted to fight 2 Gorbals, Grombrindal, and see who could win. But I am going to support him, of course, because he has already taken some decent amount of damage here. Runes from the buffs are going to be going down, but you can see we've done a decent amount of damage to the 2 Gorbals as well. I'm getting my Rangers with great weapons over here on the flank, and they're going to be throwing in to assist in this fight. We have a flash bomb that I dropped down on these 2 Gorbals. You can see Grombrindal is doing most of this damage, because like these Longbeards, they don't really get through the Gorbal armor that well, but man, Grombrindal just like F you. Anyway, on the left side here, we have all of their Goreherds engaging against our melee forces, and this Gorbal is like, no, I'm done with this little dwarf, this crazy white-haired dwarf, I'm done. I'm going over here and dealing with these Dwarven warriors, or these Longbeards. And then here come the rest of the Centaurs over the hill. Their one spotter group of Chaos Warhounds is going after my grudge thrower, but it's out of ammunition, so it doesn't really matter. My Grumbling Guard, which was being picked on through most of this battle by the Cygors, is taking the brunt of this charge. But they are trying to get to my Bugman's Rangers over here that have opened fire on the Cygor. Of course, my great weapons were throwing into the Gorbals, and now they are throwing into the Cygor. I'm trying to get a flanking action with some of our Dwarven Warriors over here to try and halt the Cygors, or I'm sorry, the Centaurs over here. But they are they're fast, and they have infinite vigor because of one of their abilities. I forget what it's called. It's that, like, water satchel. It basically makes it so that they're fresh throughout the entire battle. So they're very deadly, especially later when everyone else is tired. So they're going to get a charge on my Bugman's Rangers, but the thing about Bugman's Rangers, they do have regeneration and are still decent in melee. They're also really not heavily armored, so a lot of the armor piercing or the great weapons don't do much in the situation. So they're going to take some damage, but that's okay. I'm going to throw our 2 Dwarven great weapon Rangers and just have him throw some axes over here. I'm also going to reinforce him with a nearby group of Dwarf Warriors. Over here, Grombrindal is back on Gorbull duty, along with his friends, the Grumbling Guard. He actually took a big hit there. So I believe this is the Gorbull that originally ran, but they popped the potion. Yeah, because there's the other one right there. But I'm going to try and stick Grombrindal on him. Get him, Grombrindal. I just want to see him get chunked. We'll look at that cinematic here in a bit. Look at that chunk! Oh my god, you're such a beast. Who's Ungrim? Who's Ungrim Iron Fist? Who is that guy? Dude, it's all about Grombrindal now, man. Also, the throwing axes don't help this Gorbull at all either. But, man, Grombrindal's such a beast. I'm going to be popping, I think, Foe Seeker again? Yeah, Foe Seeker's going in here. We're going after the second Gorbull. This Grombrindal don't care. But it's at this point that my opponent is actually going to give up the fight. Over here, I didn't really show it right there, but most of these Centaurs were murdered by my Dwarven Rangers with great weapons. Bugman's Rangers were already regenerating back up towards full, and the these Dwarven Warriors? Yeah, Dwarven Warriors. They were cleaning up the Chaos Warhounds here, so they lost this fight over there because their Centaurs were already very depleted from their attacks on my Grudge Thrower. This Cygor was running out of battle because I attacked it with the... I know I attacked it with the Gyrocopter, and I think because of the Bugman's Rangers. And then, like, the Gore Herds, again, there's a lot of them still, and there's still one Gorbull, but, I mean, Grombrindal was on his way. Like, he's looking. They locked eyes, and that's when the game ended. They're like, so really, I don't think they have much of a chance at this point in the game. The Gore Herds, there's just too much armor here for them to chew through. But I still think they left a little too soon. Like, fight the battles out, you know? But I've come across this a lot where you fight a battle, and as soon as it starts to waver on one side or the other, like, a player will leave. And it's not fun. It's not fun. Fight till the end. You never know. You never know. The enemy player may make a huge mistake, like throw their lord, I don't know, like next to a Gorbull, and then have him get murdered and like chain route. Like, you never know. Okay, just stick the battles to the very end. But yeah, this whole point was to try and see how much damage Grombrindal could do against Gorbulls. He did fight 2 of them on his own very briefly, and I think he held up pretty well against that, but other than that, he just murdered them one-on-one. With the support of Runesmith buffs, and the Grumbling Guard nearby, and some throwing axes later. But listen, the point is, I think Grombrindal can hold his own for a little while against even the massive Gorbulls, which is a rare thing in this game, because Gorbulls are really good. Let's see, for the kills here, decent amount of kills amongst the front line for this short engagement that they had, really. The Rangers with great weapons, 47 kills each against all of those Centaurs, and they did a ton of damage to the Gorbulls and the Cygors as well. Bugman's Rangers, 29 kills. They were only shooting into the Cygors, and then I think the Centaurs very briefly, but I think a lot of those are from melee kills. They're not too bad in melee. 117 kills from this Grudge Thrower is definitely not bad. A lot of Gore Herds fell, and some Centaurs fell to them as well. 57 on the Gyrocopter. The entire battle, they were just sitting there nailing those Centaurs, and they racked up a ton of kills. 700 in cost for this basic Gyrocopter. 57 Centaur kills. And these Centaurs do pretty well against dwarves. Well, they're not the worst against dwarves. For my enemy player here... These nuts on your chin. Gorbulls, they got a decent amount of kills before Grombrindal shut them down. Gore Herd still got some amount of kills against the Dwarven Warriors, which is kind of impressive. These guys were shut down just before they could do much. And then this Cygor, 78 kills. This Cygor nailed my Grumbling Guard, I think, 3 times. Very accurate. You know, that's the thing I noticed. Like, whenever I try to play Cygors, a lot of times they miss, it seems like. But whenever I fight against Cygors, those they are like, they have a sniping scope on every single rock, and they are just pinpoint accurate. And it ticks me off, man. Ticks me off how, like, just random, sometimes accurately a Cygor can be. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the battle. Let's watch a quick cinematic view, because I just want to watch Grombrindal go crazy. I want to watch the Grumbling Guard get nailed here, because I don't think they've been touched yet. Here it is. Here it is. Oh, Jesus. What the... Look at that damage. I do have them densely packed here. I didn't have them spread out like I should have, but holy shit, man. Like 25% or more in just one rock throw. And I think they get nailed again. Oh man, right in the flank. Now they're down to almost 50%. And then I'm like, oh, I better spread these guys out. These poor Grumbling Guard. I think they get nailed one more time. Oh, did you see that rock just like hug the ground? How did that even happen? Again, like sometimes Cygors are just pinpoint accurate. Look at these Grumbling Guard, man. 3 hits. Down to like 30%. 35%. Oh, again! I didn't even see it that time. God, both of them went after the Grumbling Guard. Jeez. And here's the match you've all been waiting for. Grombrindal versus 2 Gorbals. Going after the ankles. Smart choice. Was that Gorbal just trying to like rub his face into Grombrindal? Like, what's going on there? Thane gets in on the action. Ooh, nice tackle by the Gorbal. Flash bomb going down. Going after the kneecaps this time. That Gorbal is just trying to get the hell out. Go! Yeah, these Gore Herds, they were definitely outclassed with Longbeards and even basic Dwarf Warriors. Gore Herds don't have much of a chance. You really should make some kind of best scores into your main infantry line if you're fighting against the Dwarves. Because the 2 Gorbals are not always going to be enough to win the game for you. Neither is 2 Cygors. You can see I have my Thane over here tanking this one. Dwarf Warriors are temporarily tanking this Cygor, but I think they're pulled off over here to deal with the Centaurs. And again, the Bugman's Rangers are not bad in melee. They have a 31 melee attack and defense. So that's not bad. I think they have 40 armor and like 33 weapon strength? 31 weapon strength. And on top of that, they have regeneration. So like, they're definitely not bad. I should try them out more. Also, when they're supported by 2 Dwarven Warriors with great weapons nearby, or Dwarven Warlords. No, Dwarven Rangers, jeez. Grombrindal, round 2. And then the axes come in. Listen, let's ignore the axes. It was all Grombrindal, okay? It was all 1v1. Don't worry about the Longbeards nearby. Don't worry about these throwing axes. That totally nailed the thing. The side of the head. And then it's just like, boom. The sequel is about to happen here is what's going on. Because, like, it's perfectly timed. Just at the very end, the Gorbal looks over like, this mother killed my brother. And now it's going to be, I don't know, what's a cheesy, like, action movie? The blood, I don't know. I can't think of one right now. Damn it. Oh, missed opportunity for me. Anyway, thanks for watching the battle, everybody. I hope you look forward to the sequel, Grombrindal versus that Gorbal's brother at some other video at some point. Because he's obviously upset. Like, they're perfectly, like, locking eyes, I think, here. Where's Grombrindal? Like, we'll just look at it through the Gorbal's eyes. Anyway, I'll see you all next time, everybody. Thanks again for watching.